Hi there, Michael Bromley, Mustang Coaching Services. In this video, we'll be doing the Zen Yoga warm-up. The purpose of the warm-up is just as it says. We're going to warm and open all the joints and raise the core temperature of the body. And we're going to get some deep breaths and some qigong movements to either prepare us for further exercise or to just prepare us for the day. This is something you can do in the morning, for example, and it'll prepare you for the whole day. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, I like to do 3 to 5 deep cleansing breaths, just breathing in from all the way down here, all the way up to the top of the head, through the nose to the top of the head, and exhaling very forcefully to cleanse the body. I'm going to collect some toxins and throw them right out of the body. Okay, so let's start by just rotating and opening the joints. So we're going to start with the ankles. I'm rotating the ankles in both directions, and this is doubling as a balance exercise. So I'm going both directions, and then when I'm finished there, I'm going to extend the leg and move it forward and back, that dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. Okay, it doesn't really matter how many repetitions you do, usually something like 8 to 12. Let's go to the other leg, rotating this way and rotating the opposite direction, extending the leg and doing the plantar dorsiflexion. You can also do this exercise with the ankle on the floor, with the foot on the floor, and roll it this way if you're not ready or unable to balance at this stage. You can do this on the floor, like what I'm doing here now, and do this quite lowly. And if you need to touch the floor until you gain your balance, that's quite fine. There's really no rules, but there is guidelines and principles. So it's up to everyone's unique ability. Okay, let's move up to the knees now. So what we're going to do here is we're going to move them forward and back only, and we want to keep the knee not too far over the toe and just at about a 90-degree angle only. So we're just going forward and back. 12 times is a magic number for me. And then from here we're just going to do a semicircular, not the full circle. I don't like that idea so much on the full rotation of the knee. I think half moon, half circle rotation is fine. And again, we will warm and open the joints this way. That's our aim. Okay, let's move up now to the hip, and we're going to do a full circle. We're going to imagine that we're inside a hula hoop, for example, here, and try to touch the edges all the way around, so we're getting the full range of motion in the hip joint where the femur comes into the hip joint here. Back the other direction. Okay, and then we're just going to go forward and back. So here we're just looking for a little stretch on the hamstrings, legs are fairly straight, and a little compression of the lower back. All these exercises are meant to be very, very gentle and very safe. So you go within your own boundaries, and then expand out of those boundaries when your flexibility and your range of motion and your flexibility actually improves. Okay, so we're going to just go side to side now. Same thing here, we're looking for a little stretch up the side and up the side of the abdominal wall here. You'll feel a little stretch around the hip and the outside of the leg. Okay, we're going to move up now to the shoulder. I just like to put the, let's say, the left foot forward and move the right shoulder backwards in a very large circle, as big as you possibly can. Like to get the upper arm touching the ear here. And we're just going to change sides. I'm going to rotate that all the way backwards. The reason why we don't do the this backwards shoulder rotation from the neutral position is that you can see my range of motion sort of goes out to the sides. It does go beyond my shoulders, but not very much. Whereas if I stand this way, you can see how far the range of motion goes back. Now I'm just going to go forwards, and I like to cross the left over right, right over left. Big circles, again, upper arms trying to brush the ears, and I dip my knees at the same time. It becomes a bit more of a full body exercise. From here, I'm just going to go straight into this exercise here where I stretch my biceps and I cross my chest, raise up on my toes, we call it seagulls. And I'm lifting that nice stretch. Okay, from here, you can do other exercises, shrugging, rolling forward, rolling back, etc. Now, I'm going to do some work on the elbows and the shoulder at the same time, so I'm going to do a lift and drop. It's called an elbow shrug. I lift and drop here. Then I'm just going to work on these tendons here around the forearms and the elbows. And I like to do this exercise where I almost do like a palm strike. I'm pulling the hand back, engages the flexors and extensors that I want in the forearms. And I'm just going to head off into the center line of the body. And you'll feel that nice stretching, warming feeling in the tendons, etc. around the elbow joint. You can also do this straight down, different actions. Okay, so just rotating the elbows and the other way. Some of these exercises look really weird and funny. In fact, you can make quite a few jokes just to keep the mood light when you're doing this warm up. Okay, the wrists. Many things you can do here, but basically I like to rotate them in, rotate them out, and give them a good shake, both this way and this way. Okay, now to the neck, we're just going to go forward and back. I really want my chin just touching the chest, and looking back and up towards the ceiling, just gently and slowly. Even breathing while you're doing all these exercises. I'm going to turn my head to the side and try to look behind, twisting. Really want to try to keep my shoulders square and try to look behind. And then I'm just going to do some dipping, try to get my ear on my shoulder. Okay, so that's most of the joints that are warmed and opened now. Now I'm going to add some rotational movement. So I like to use the ragdoll. So what I like to do is try and get this trunk moving first, and then it's really generated from the hip. So I'm going to generate it from the hip, and I'm going to let my knee follow so it doesn't get left behind and get twisted. I'm going to let it come up with my hip, and therefore my foot will turn and come up onto the ball of the foot as well, see? Okay, so I get this action. I'm just going to let my arms literally just flop side to side like the ragdoll that describes it. And I like to also just, impact my body, give it a bit of a slap wherever it lands. Okay, so from here then we can add the rotation this way with the arms, across the other side and up, across, the Other side, and up. Same action with my hips and my knees. And I can even do the same action here, where I do monkeys, bit of shoulder mobility, over and under. Like so, again, just giving myself a bit of a slap wherever the hand lands. It's very good just to wake up the body. In fact, one of the exercises we do is like a low hand pat down all over the body, but I'm not going to include that in this warm up. Okay, so there's a rotational movement and warming up of all the joints. Now we're going to add some breathing. So let's do the opening and gathering Qigong. So very briefly, and I can explain the breathing in another video, but we're going to start from here in the neutral position of our legs, breathing in through the nose silently, filling up the belly first, expanding the chest, lifting up. I watch my hands as I come up. I breathe in for about the count of 5 or 6 to begin with. I retain the breath here for around, 3 to 4 count, and then I exhale, bring the hands to the side of the body. I exhale in time with the breath. I sink my knees down and bring the hands back together down here again to about that 5 or 6 count, and then I exhale all the way up, pushing down here and focusing on the Dantian, the Chinese word here for this position below the navel. And I'm going to focus down here as I exhale all the way up. And I want to be void of breath and suspend the breath here for that same 3 to 4 count. And then we begin again. So we inhale, filling up, pushing out, expanding. Count of say 5 or 6, and then 3 or 4. And exhale to about 5 or 6. We suspend here for the count of 3 to 4, void of breath. We can continue that exercise of opening Qigong as many times as you like. Then we'll just reverse it. Okay, so we're just going to do the palms up, inhaling, same count. Okay, retaining the breath. And when we get to this position up here, we will exhale down the front of the body, pushing the hands down towards the earth and sinking our body weight again, focusing our breath outward here. So again, we're filling up, we're starting with the belly, pushing out here, filling up, all the way up here, and exhale, sink down. It's like we're here in our Tao type philosophy, we're connecting heaven to us, to earth. Okay, so we're building and gathering the Qigong. Okay, another exercise you might do instead of or including would be the swan. So we're simply just going to flap our wings, bring the backs of the hands together, retaining the breath there for that 4 count, exhale for 6, sinking down in time with the movement, exhale, void of breath, to the point of suspension here for about that 3 or 4 count, and in again. You can see how to get the name Swan. Okay, so there's our warming up of the body, and including some basic breathing exercises which I can explain in another video.